Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to another office hours for the faststore beta. And for the first time, we're doing it in English. And so, just as a reminder, from now on, we're going to alternate between both English and Portuguese. It's going to go like 1 week it's in English, such as just one, and then next week we do it in Portuguese, and then next week English, and so on. This is the first time that we're doing this, so please remember to send us some feedback, tell us what you think about it. And oh, yes, and of course, let's just get started. My name is Victor, and I'm a software engineer here at VTEX. I work on the faststore team. And well, we're very excited about reaching more of you from around the world. We know that there are some international, some people from outside of Brazil already using faststore, trying things out. So we hope that with this change, we are reaching more people, right? So thanks for being here with us, and let's get going. All right, so the first section of every office hours that we do is always the announcement section. Here's where we're gonna tell you like what's new, what we've been working on, and generally bring you some news and cool stuff. And for today, I have Renata here with us to show the how the new base store looks.
Hi, Vitor. Hi, all. I'm Renata. I'm a designer from the faststore team, and I'm here to announce that we have recently published our new styled base store. And it's still the closed beta version, but you can already take a look at it on the base.vtex.app. So let me just give you a sneak peek of it. Cool. So this is our current homepage. You can see the product cards. Let me just open a PDP here. We have the implemented PDP, and you can also use the mini cart and change the quantity and hopefully remove it. Cool. We also have the PLP with the list of all the products and the filters. It's a responsive implementation, so you can already look in your mobile phone, and the GitHub it's updated so you can fork it the repository to test it, and if you want to move it for production, please talk with our PMs on Lailson. We are also planning to do a demo in Portuguese next week, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
So thanks, Ananta. So everyone, if you haven't checked it out, go to base.vtex.app. The new store looks awesome. It's way more appealing than it was before. So please take a look. I think you're gonna like it. Ananta Brazil loves you. Awesome, awesome to see. And also make sure to always keep up to date with everything that we're releasing every month. Check out our release notes for more updates. You can find them at faststore.dev/releases. Always keep an eye there because as soon as something new pops up and we have a brand new release notes, we're always gonna bring them here in the office hours, so you're always up to date if you're here. But also keep an eye there because you might get it a few days early. So I don't know. Awesome. So that's what we have for announcements today. So next session in the office hours is the Ask the Community section. This is the section where we bring some questions that you guys asked on the community.vtex with using the tag office hours, and we answer them there and then bring them here so that we have a more a deeper discussion on what the answer actually was and how you can trying to show it to more people, right? So let's go. First question. is the first question was a problem with image of base store. This was asked by Lucas. He was basically trying to use external images from Google in a component from VTEX, and it simply didn't work because we currently every image that you try to use in your store, like built with faststore, it has to go through our VTEX Thumber server. And the Thumber server does like it does a bit of processing to give you always an image like in the right size and everything. So it helps you with performance because images tend to be a big pain point when trying to make websites faster, right? Maybe the image is too big or it's not being lazy loaded and everything. So using Gatsby image and the Gatsby Thumber plugin and the VTEX Thumber server, we can like guarantee you better performance in images, right? But well, his let me just I think now it's easier for you to read, right? I think like the problem was like, okay, what if I don't want to use the VTEX Thumber server, right? If I just want to use any other domain, like a random image hosted at Google from Google Images. Well, unfortunately, you can't do that, and it's intentional. It's just because, as Matt already replied here, it's just because of security. Because we want to be sure that we're only serving images that come from our server, so that you're not exposed to like, well, images from other domains, right? Because then we have no guarantee where they're coming from and everything. And for now, there aren't any plans to change that. So if you're using images on your store, which you're very likely to be using, please keep to our to the standard of using our Tumblr plugin. All right. And George also provided more details here on like how to actually do this, right? So you pretty much just upload your file to the files manager using the legacy CMS. Then you use the image widget in the site editor because like it will allow you to upload your
Can I
image
explain?
more
I
easily.
think I got you confused with my answer. It looks like a step by step, but it's not. It's just
Oh
like
yeah,
different
yeah, that's right.
alternatives. So
Okay.
like you want to use our ugly Windows Explorer like interface from Legacy CMS. That's a place where you can upload images. You can do that through Site Editor in an image widget, whatever it is, or you can use the image uploader widget in Headless CMS. So those are three places
Oh, I
where you
see.
can upload, depending on where you're more comfortable with. Usually, people use the Legacy CMS; it's like more straightforward. But you can also use the assets builder that will generate a VTEX assets URL.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely not streamlined, right?
Yeah, yeah. At least not for now. Not for now. We're definitely gonna make this better. But yeah, it's not the. Just a side note: to use the assets builder, you have to have a store theme, right? So you're probably coming from VTEX.io and everything. If you don't
Yeah,
know what's that, just ignore
yeah.
that.
Don't mess with that if you don't know what that is. But
Yeah.
definitely, if you have a store theme, if you're migrating from VTEX.io store
Yeah.
framework, then you might have that already. There's a,
Yes.
a follow up question here in the chat. I don't know if we'll be able to answer Bruno, but Bruno asks, shouldn't the Thumber server enable images from VTEX image domain? Here it doesn't work, only VTEX
Only VTEX
assets.
assets.
So I guess for
Uh,
security, it wouldn't be a problem, but maybe there's a
yeah.
restriction in Thumber.
Yeah, probably there is. Probably there is. This is likely just this was likely just an oversight. Uh, and yes, I mean I can't tell you for sure because I'm not. It looks like it wouldn't be a problem. It looks like it wouldn't be a problem, but I don't know. I'm gonna ask more people on the team to see because yeah, it maybe was just an oversight. Like we
Yeah,
just considered one and forgot the other.
Bruno, I'm gonna add the question to our video notes. Please add that comment there to that question in VTEX community so that we can keep going with the discussion. It's a fair point. I
Okay.
mean, VTEX image is one of our domains, right? So
Yeah.
All right, the next one I'm going to answer, so I'm going to go ahead and just stay here with you, Miranda. So it's about Lighthouse Validation. So it's Stephanie's first question. Thanks for your question, Stephanie. She was asking, how can I customize or check in details with the GitHub Lighthouse Validation log? So right now on VTEX sites, we run a bunch of Lighthouse tests, and there's some of those logs there for you, but not all of them. And she wanted to dive deeper into what the actual errors are and why they're happening. So it's really hard, and we hear you, Stephanie. It's not ideal yet. So what I answered to Stephanie for now is that unfortunately there's no way for you to get access to the Lighthouse CI server we actually run the tests in, because originally we set it up in a way that all store logs are, served by the same server. The consequence would be that maybe you'd want to check out your logs, but then another store will be able to see your logs as well, and that'll be a privacy issue. So until that privacy issue is dealt with, we don't want to share that access to the server so you can get more detailed results. However, that's something we want to offer in the future. But there are some things that you can do a little different from what you suggested. That's running the Chrome Lighthouse plugin. That's not something that we recommend for now. But regarding customization, if you want to change how the Lighthouse tests work, you can change some of the things, like you can configure the pages that need to be tested in your store config. So that's where you'd say, like, I want this homepage or this PLP or this PDP to be tested. You could add as many tests as you want for validation. And you can also change the Lighthouse config in Lighthouse RC.js in your store code. So some of the stuff we pull in directly from this package that we import with faststore. And you can check it out for more details, like what devices we're testing on, what are the tests we want to run, or what are the tests we ignore. So that's all in there. You can check it out. It's all open source. And if you want to check the logs in detail, an alternative would be to run the same thing that runs in our servers, but locally. So for you to do that, I just gave you the general idea. There's this command that goes with every store. That's yarn lhci. That's Lighthouse CI. And that will basically run the same tests, but on your machine. It takes a while, so be patient. But just added some more notes. But it's very important for you to do that instead of doing the Chrome Lighthouse extension for Chrome. Okay, I think I said Chrome twice. Sorry about that. But the extension isn't that configurable. It's very, like, the settings are very basic. So the results will likely be different from the ones we show you in GitHub, because you're not able to set the devices, you're not able to set the rules that are applied. So my recommendation for you is to run Lighthouse CI locally, and you'll get access to the full report, and they'll make things a little bit easier to debug. All right, Stephanie, thanks for your question. And let's move on to the next question. Vito, I think that's with you, right?
Awesome. Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yes, it is. So, okay, the next question comes from Homlu, and he's asking about the checkout. Yes, the checkout. This is kind of important, right? So, okay, he's asking if the development of the checkout remains separate, right? Because in VTEX.io, when you were using when you had all your stores set up in VTEX.io and everything, the checkout was always kind of separate, right? Like it was another experience and you had to follow another set of instructions and other development environment and everything. So it was a bit different. Is this gonna be the same for faststore? Yes, for now it is. For now, the checkout is separate from the development cycle that you have on the faststore, right? It's still gonna be a separate module, the same thing. Just as, and Danielle also answered here, telling that yes, it's exactly the same way that you handle it in VTEX.io. It's pretty much the same with faststore. And then at your own store, like at the faststore part of your development, you're going to like what you're gonna handle is only the mini cart, right? Which today works with the order form and everything. Like you have to then when you add a product, you are basically just adding a new item to the order form, and then it updates the cart, and then you go to checkout. That part you're still gonna do, but in faststore, and it's a bit different. The abstractions are a bit different. You will not be using the same VTEX IO app and everything, right? It's another idea. He left a few links here that are definitely worth checking out if you're trying to make the mini cart, the cart in general work in your store. Check out Daniel's answer. And this is already working at the base store, right? So there you have a working code that you can use as an example, right? And by the way, in a few minutes, you're gonna see like a demo of the checkout flow working on the base store, so that you can better understand how it works and actually see it working. And we're also working on documentation for that. Like that's gonna walk you through everything. But Ícaro is gonna tell you more about that later. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks for your answer, Miranda. Let me find my screen again because I'm constantly losing it. Okay, just a minute. There you go. Okay, so we have one more question, and then I have a question from the chat. Okay, Vito. So the next one, I'm the one talking about. So Rafael from Avante, thanks for your question, is asking about issues with the login in the new base store. So he checked out the styled base store. He's really excited about it, but then he clicked in the sign in button and didn't really do anything. So it's like, what's up with that? Like, aren't users going to be able to log in anymore? And let me just switch my question here. So what Larissa told him was like, we're still working on a definitive solution for login. It's kind of the same context as the checkout. There isn't an easy way for us to do the whole redirect flow that happens when you're logging in with the identification protocols. So for now, we're leveraging the existing solution from VTEX IO, and that requires a few things. But there's a currently merged PR, like it was merged yesterday, I think, about how login works and what's the flow and so on. So you can check it out if you want more details about how login is working. We're going to incorporate it to the base store in the next couple of days or weeks, maybe, but it works, and we have live versions with live stores with login. It's just not super integrated with our base store yet. But yeah, feel free to check out the pull request with the documentation, or keep up with our new PRs that will actually finish this integration. Do you want to add anything else?
Yes, actually, there is, since the PR is already merged, you can already find this at the faststore.dev site.
Nice. So let's do it.
Yeah, just go to how to guides. Oh yes, there's a search. Way easier.
Let me, because it's going through a lot of things, so I'm not sure if it's. I'll go to I haven't used this yet, so
it's in platform integration. Yes, integrating VTEX.
Yeah, so there's a few things that you need to do in our legacy CMS still, like this part.
Yeah.
But we're going through all the points. Hopefully, it'll help you do that easier in your own store. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was my last question. Let's, instead of moving on to that part, answer this question that came in from the chat. So Ruben is with us. Thanks for your question, Ruben. And he's asking, how's the process when a client wants to migrate from IO to faststore? Does a client need to load all data and go through all the integrations again in order to have the same configurations of IO? I'll start with my answer, and then you can add more, right, Miranda?
Okay.
So my answer, Ruben, is some things are still going to run in the same account, right? So, for instance, your catalog, your prices, your promotions, your orders, it's all going to be on the same core commerce functionality that's offered by a VTEX account. That's not going to change. faststore works as a sort of a headless front end for the commerce platform. So everything that you're pulling in, all the information that you're pulling in from the commerce core functionalities, or you're pushing to that, will keep going the same. Some things, however, will need to be customized. For instance, if you have some front-end integrations, like you have custom components, if you have things that require, especially front-end apps, or that need an integration with a back-end app that was done custom, you'll probably have to rethink it from the, faststore / static site generation / Gatsby or whatever approach, because we don't have render anymore, in the sense that it's not loading when the person is navigating. So the logic for you to interact with the backend and when you can do it and where in your code that's supposed to be changes a bit. So we're working on some documentation about like go live checklists and things that you can repurpose from prior projects and things that you need to do from scratch. But definitely reach out, like, I think with a more specific question in the VTEX community, like, is this component available in faststore, or can I do this, or how do I do that? And then we can help you a little bit more specific. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah.
Miran?
No, I think your answer was pretty complete, actually. But yeah, like a lot of the things you're gonna use the same thing that you already have working on VTEX.io, because we still need a VTEX account in the backend, right? So there's a big chance that a lot of things that you already did, especially in the backend, and the configuration, like the catalog and everything, you don't need to redo all that, right? There is no rework here. But your front end, it's very likely that you're gonna have to start from scratch or from the base store, right? But yeah, apart from that, there are probably some VTEX.io apps that you might need to install. Maybe for you to use like the new CMS, you're going to need some apps from the CMS. But this is documented on faststore.dev as well. Off the top of my head, I don't remember everything, but it's there. It's there. You can take a look.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, well, that's what I had for today. So I'm going to leave you to keep going with the event. Thanks, Milan.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, George. So just a reminder, everyone, if you want your questions to be featured here in the office hours and for us to answer it and comment on it for everyone, don't forget to add the tag office hours to your question in VTEX Community. Right as you're creating the question, you can tag it. So that way it makes it easier for us, and it's your question is much more likely to be featured here. All right. So remember that, and keep asking, and we're doing our best to always get back to you as quickly as possible. Okay. So now the final part of the office hours, and one of the most exciting ones, which is the demo time. I think today we have one demo, and it's about the checkout. I already kind of gave you a sneak peek of it, but not really. So I have Ícaro here. Ícaro is also from the faststore team. Hey.
Yeah, hello guys. Today I'm here to show you how the checkout integration works. So as you may have noticed, up until recently, we didn't have the checkout on faststore or on base.store. So we've been working to add it, and I'm going to show you how it works. So basically, I'm going to shop an item, and I'm going to explain a few things in the process. So I'm going to choose this yellow item here. I'm going to add it to the cart. So you can see I didn't leave the site. I'm still working on faststore. I can change the quantity. I can remove the item. So I'm still browsing faststore. And one important thing to note here is that I'm not browsing base.store using base.vtex.app. I'm on this custom domain that points to that address. So that will be important on the next step. So let my card load here. Maybe I'm getting some error on the query. I don't know. Let me reload the page. Yeah, the demigods are not happy with me. But basically, I'm going to do what the button would do. That is go to the checkout, right? So I'm going to go to that secure subdomain here and on the path checkout. When you click that button there, you would be redirected to here. And what is happening on the background? And also be aware of that subdomain here. That's not with the certificate. We're working on with that. But basically what we're doing here is that the secure subdomain is pointing to the Poro website. And that Poro website contains the checkout, as we've talked earlier on these office hours. So for now, we're using the same checkout we were using on Store Framework. Let me get back here and try to actually use my card because I need that button to send the order form ID for me to see my items. So VTEX faststore. Yeah, it keeps on loading. Let me open in another tab. Just a second.
Yeah, that's what we usually call negation field in PhD programs. Like when people are watching things, sometimes stop working, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Do you need a minute to get the demo set up? Because we have a couple more questions in the chat. I could take them with Vito while you organize your demo.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. No, let's do it. So, Vito, I'm calling you back, and I'll give Ícaro a few moments. We have a couple really interesting questions here in the chat, and let's just get to them. So I'll start with one by Afonso Praça, our main man, our MVP. Thanks for your question, Afonso. So Afonso is asking, can I develop a faststore site using a VTEX account while the store framework website is up, selling and running? Is there any impact? So the general idea of like, you already have a store up and you want to try it out, but maybe things aren't going to work. Do you need to stop selling? What's your take on that, Vito?
Fortunately, no, you don't need to stop selling. Yes, it is possible. It is possible to develop your faststore site while your store framework one is up, right? They don't have much of an intersection. Like as George said earlier, like the faststore, the whole faststore store is kind of headless. So like you're just, for example, if you already have a VTEX.io account, you just create a new workspace, and then you'll probably just test different things on that workspace, and you can configure like your faststore frontend to read from that workspace, so that even if you change something in even if you change something in that workspace that would normally cause a change in IO, it's only going to affect the faststore one. So yes, it is. You don't need to like just straight up like
change or do A/B testing or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to add is like when you have like the production URL for a faststore site is always something.vtex.app, and if your main domain isn't pointing to that, you'll just have that published and pulling from the source. That's your catalog and everything that you need, but it won't be accessible to anyone that doesn't have that URL. I think the main points of concern right now, since we're repurposing some of the things of Store Framework for them to work with us, like my account, checkout, login. So those things are places where you might need to be a little bit more careful if you're going to customize it completely different from your main Store Framework store. But other than that, like even if you're not pointing to your development workspace, that's fine, because some things are some of the things of your VTEX account are shared among workspaces, right? You don't have a separate catalog for development workspaces on VTEX.io. You don't have separate logistics configurations. So in principle, like you can just like get your faststore site point it to your VTEX account and start working on your template and see it working, no problem. Just main points of concern: checkout, login, and my account. And that's connected to the next question. So Ruben is asking, will we have a new My Account page? If so, is it going to be accessible for developers? Do you know?
Yes, we will. We will. Again, I always say this. I feel like I say this in every edition, but I cannot give you a date. But yes, we will. We will definitely have a new My Account, a new order placed, eventually a new checkout. Like we are everything that now works as an integration with VTEX.io, and we're kind of like repurposing it. All of those parts are gonna be native eventually. We're just not there yet, but yes, there will. And will the code be accessible? Very likely, very likely.
You at
I'm
least
not.
have a way to customize it, right?
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm not fully aware why our My Account on VTEX.io is private right now. It's probably to avoid customizations that might break your store or something like that. But as a default, we're going to try our best to make it fully open source with faststore, just like everything in faststore.
Nice. Nice. There's another question by Bruno. That's do we have any plans for an assets builder inside the faststore project? I guess not yet, right? But that came up in the question. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that, Bruno. And that's something that would be awesome for for us to see a community contribution. So if you have any ideas of like how could we better manage assets that are being sent? I don't know if the assets builder is open source. I guess not, right? We just let people use it, but
No, it's not.
That's definitely an open problem right now. How do you get images that are locally available to developers and send it to our CDN in a scalable way, close to code, like we have the assets builder? But yeah, we'll definitely discuss this internally after the question we answered and after your question, Bruno.
Yes, for sure.
And Dante made a nice comment here in the chat. So the kind of thing that we have to have as a concern between migrating from IO to faststore is basically the same kind of thing that you need to be concerned with when you're going from our legacy CMS to store framework, right? You need to check all boxes, see all pages, make sure that things are working the same before you put it out in production. And now we're back to our code of Schrodinger. So it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So let's bring back Ícaro. It looks like things are working right now, right?
Yeah, very good. So I think I was in an invalid state. I mean, I developed on this machine, so it's probably because of that. But basically, what we want to do is add items to the cart on faststore, and then this marvelous button here showed up now. And we're gonna click it, and this button is gonna take us to the checkout. And as I explained earlier, we have the secure subdomain that's hosting the checkout and other integrations important to the store, and we have this query string here that's order form ID. That's like passing the cart to the checkout, if that makes sense. It's like communicating that, hey, use those items when this user goes to the checkout. So that's what we're doing here. We have those two items there on the cart, and now they're on the checkout. So we're just gonna finish up this order and let it load my information here. Okay, and then I'm gonna use this free payment method to test. So yeah, now we can like place orders on faststore. And that's a spoiler that we're going to see right now. That's the order-placed integration. I think we're going to present it soon, but I think that's what I wanted to show you guys today.
I would just add that the documentation is coming. The documentation is coming.
Yeah, good point. We already have a documentation that explains how you can configure those subdomains and those domain, but we're adding a section there to explain how should you request us to allow that domain to host your faststore website. Currently, you can't do that, and we're adding a step-by-step guide to help you do it, basically.
Awesome. That's awesome. Do you have any questions from the chat? This is the surprise thing you could have. Okay, we have one from Ruben. Do we need to request permission in order to create backend applications or admin applications or pixel applications in faststore? I mean, this is more of a general question, but
yeah,
if you want to about the presentation.
Yeah, but I don't think you need you have full access to the schema. You can create your own resolvers, so you can communicate with your own backend server and serve it on your faststore. The same goes with pixel applications. You have full control of your front end, so you can add these custom scripts to your website, but they're usually harm performance. So we are releasing also docs on how you can do it without compromising your performance numbers.
Nice.
That's very important.
Yes.
Let me just add one thing, Ruben. If you use VTEX IO currently for backend applications or admin applications, you can still use that. Our development platform still valid, still works just fine. What I think needs to be in your head is that the way that these applications interact with your front end is a little different. So in faststore, you're building the pages prior to user navigation. So often you do that, at least. So you need to be aware of where do you need to change things and where do you need to make requests to your backend APIs, and how do you interact with anything that's set up by your admin applications so that it affects your store in the appropriate way. But you can still, build and develop and publish backend apps and admin apps just the same way. What we do have a thing coming up is a new apps framework we're working on, so that you can actually build apps that are more integrated with this new approach in Gatsby. But no spoilers for now. I don't even know a lot about that project. I just know that we're trying to figure out a better way to publish apps, and you'll see more about that soon. And you don't need to say sorry. We're happy you're here, Ruben. Thanks for your questions. I have a final question for us to answer before we end it, and you could keep joining us for this AMA. So can we use? Oh, this is by Virgil. He's in our team in Romania. Thanks, Virgil, for your question. Can we use IO apps with a faststore account? So I partially answered that, right? Do you want to add anything, Ícaro and Vito?
I think it's just important to make one thing clear that a faststore account and IO account is the same thing, right? It's just a VTEX account that works on VTEX IO the same way. It's not different. And if by IO apps you mean front end IO apps, no, they will not work because we don't have render runtime anymore. It's different. As George said, it's different. So if you build a component using I don't know, the minicart. The minicart is an app, right? VTEX.minicart. If you try to use VTEX.minicart inside of faststore, you're not going to be able to do that. But the backend, if you have a node application and everything, you likely just need to change a few things on the front end, and it's going to work. Okay.
Yeah, and as George said, your backend apps and your admin apps continue to work just the same. So no worries there.
Yeah, I think it's important just to, so like you said, IO apps can be front end, back end, and admin applications. And even the front end apps, if you have a custom front end component, you might not be able to fully use it the same way because of the blocks interface that you need to create and so on. but we're still using React. So
Yeah.
some of that you might be able to just copy paste and just kind of create a new component, but it's important for you to know how to build those components inside your store code, right? And I guess maybe that's what Virgil meant by faststore account. So every store in faststore currently is a GitHub repository inside the VTEX site's GitHub organization. So that's what you meant by faststore account. Sure. Just what Vito said is important, that you don't have a separate kind of VTEX account for faststore. It's the same core account, same catalog, same logistics, orders, and so on. Are admin apps compatible? Yes, don't you? They're compatible. So faststore doesn't even know the admin exists, to be honest.
Yes.
Like faststore is right now a Gatsby website that has a GraphQL BFF, like a backend for front end layer that connects to our APIs and some others. But yeah, it doesn't really touch the admin. You might need to, like, if you want to pull in data that isn't there, you might need to extend our schemas or create a new GraphQL layer. But yeah, you don't have to change anything in your admin. All right. So I think that's good for questions for today. I'll let you finish the office hours for today. Thanks, Ícaro, for your demos. Super nice.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thanks. Okay, that was great. That was great. Really enjoyed this quick MMA. But yeah, so just remember about the demo. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And just remember to fill in this form to present your demo. You can find it at community.vtex.com/office-hours-beta, because like most of the times we're the ones bringing you some demos and showing you things. But remember that this space, this whole office hours thing, we're doing this mostly for the community, right? So if you have something that you want to show, if you have something cool that you worked on, if you saw something cool that someone in your agency did, or anything like that, yeah, and you think it's gonna be good to show to the whole community, please feel free to fill in the form and come here and enjoy the office hours with us. Help us make this event even better. Okay. So with that, this is it, guys. Our first office hours in English. I hope you all enjoyed it. And just a reminder that next week it's going to be in Portuguese, and then we come back to English again. Just going to ask you for feedback again. Tell us what you think about this new change that we did. Did you enjoy it? Do you think it was important or not? Well, anyway, thank you all for being here with us, and I'm going to see you, and we see you next week. Also, don't forget to subscribe, leave the like. Yeah, this is contractual. I have to say this. Just kidding. So, thanks everyone. See you next week.